Well, so today we're out here. It's a beautiful day, and I've got something really interesting lined up. We're following this dirt road. I don't know if you can see it that well, but way up there is a switchback we're gonna go up. There's a vanished rail town on the other side of it, and it was the meeting point or intersection, confluence for two major rail hubs in the West, the Milwaukee Railroad and the Northern Pacific. And there's an old town up there with remains of both rail lines. There's a bridge. There's all sorts of things up there, as well as a tunnel. I'm super excited to get up there, share today with you and the history behind this area. It was established in 1895, and it was shut down or vanished completely in 1957. It's wild. It's this town in the middle of this canyon right next to the river, and two major historic railways connected it. This rail bed we're next to right now actually belongs to BNSF. So we're going to have active trains on the route as well. But what's interesting about this town is it was a major stop for two railways, and it's all but vanished. There's history surrounding it and things we're going to discover and uncover, but it should be fun. So first thing we're going to do is climb up this switchback way up here. The grade's going to be a little steep. I'm not entirely sure if the spring rains and all that water and mountain runoff made the road impossible to pass or not, but we're gonna find out. I know it's very steep. The grade gets very steep, so there's chances for washouts, so we're gonna be careful with that. We're gonna throw it in climb and descent, and we're gonna see if we can make it. But I'm super excited to be out here, and this town just fascinates me. There was no way to get to it until a road was installed in the 1930s. It was all by rail transportation, and it was a bustling little town right on a river, just solely a railway town. So let's get to it. Greta, come on. Greta. There you are. All right. So as we're heading down here and starting our ascent to the top, we just missed the train. That signal light's red. So we just missed one when we were coming into this canyon, and it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous back here. It's very lush. And this road was originally built in the 1930s. So the town was isolated except for rail transportation, and an earthquake hit it, and all sorts of just tragedies happened. And it's in this canyon, and we'll see. I'm going to give you a walkthrough to where we climb and drop down into the canyon from right here. And it's moderate here, but I'm expecting it to get a little gnarly. But just stunning views. Super lush back here. Now, I think this is our road. There's another road that goes up. We might have to investigate that later, but we're gonna start the climb here. And there's just these tall, ancient mesas all around this valley. I've heard if you go up to the top of one of those, you will actually find seashells, because this used to be an ocean's bottom. So pretty interesting. Now, being way up here, we can see for miles, and our downward descent, I believe, is over this way. Let's see what's over this way. So you see the remoteness of this. This is, you know, we just went up this road, and I didn't do too much talking, but we're way up here, and it's just this sheer rock wall that separates this town, the ghost town, from civilization. It's wild to think about, because there's, you know, no way in or out of it unless the train's coming. And it was like that for what, 35 years before they put a road in. So it's just crazy, and it's gorgeous up here. But wintertime, I mean, back in the 1800s or early 1900s, there's not a chance you're ever gonna plow this or drive an automobile, especially an early automobile, up this mountain. So, you know, the roadway was probably for the summer months, and the railway still provided transportation. And when the Milwaukee and Northern Pacific shut down or merged and things got slow during the 50s, I'm assuming that is the issue. You see there's like a little hamlet down there. That's probably when there was a town. Just stunning up here. All right, I'm gonna try to navigate us to the downward descent to where this ghost town's hiding. Feels like a long time driving, I'm sure, but I'm not kidding you. There was a ghost town, or a town, that sat on these cliffs, just isolated away from everything. It's really cool. There's an old rail bridge and tunnel. It'll be really interesting. So this is our downward descent, and I'm seeing all these little offshoots. I want to get on top of one and try to get an eye view of where the town would be, so I can give you guys some reference, maybe with an old picture, so you know what I'm talking about, how crazy it's looking. And we're gonna cruise this little road right here. I don't know how well maintained it is, but let's see what goes on this thing. And you can see the sheer canyons below me. Like, we're way up on one of these mesas like we came in on, and we're just riding a canyon rim, kinda. It's pretty cool. This looks like it'll be cool. Yeah. So somewhere, that's our road down, and you can see the river down there, but you can just see for miles. And you got to watch out for rattlers on days like this, because she's about a year old, and got her in the winter. She hasn't ever encountered a rattler, so I don't know how she'll act, if she'll try to go for it or heed its warning. They're probably coiled up on the edge of these sagebrush trees. What a cool area. Plane way up there. Way up here with the cell towers. And I think that's what's given us such good road conditions. This one I'm a little worried about, but it should be fine. So we're starting our descent, and you can see even the soil's changing colors. It's rich, that red soil. This is the part I don't like, but for some reason in my mind I pictured it way worse than what it is. It's a little ruddy. Let's see if we can make it out of here. Worst case, throw it in 4 low and pop it into first gear. But this isn't that bad of a climb. Just the big rocks you gotta watch out for. So, and down here is the river, and this is the original road that I was talking about. So, you're not crossing this in the snow. If you know how the snow is in the northwest mountain region, Rockies, you're not getting up here, especially in the 1930s. This was a seasonal road for a town, and now you see the bridge down there. So this is a bridge, and that's the Milwaukee. That's the old Milwaukee Railroad, and there's a story to that bridge. That's pretty interesting. Now this low point, I'm kind of expecting it to have a washout. Nothing. Some boulders in the road. That's about it. Just stunning landscape though, isn't it? Just stunning. Well, that's our wash right there. That's it. So just a little feel to the area. This was a town. This was all a town, and you see the car. There's a car right there. Not sure what it is. It's been desecrated, unfortunately. But isn't that awesome? So you would have been driving here back in the 1930s, 1940s, a nice day like today, and you would have been rolling into town. Isn't this cool? And there's even power lines back here. They still left them. And this was, I'm assuming, the hotel. So the owner of the hotel was named Billy Kai, and he was a Chinese immigrant. And he was a very fair businessman from all accounts, just researching the city, because trains were constantly running through and going to the West Coast, and this was the major intersection for the Northern Pacific and Milwaukee. He owned a hotel and diner here in town, and he would leave the cash register open and the keys out overnight when he retired, and he'd let people sign themselves in and pay, you know, themselves. But that's just a little story. There's tons of stories back here about this town, and it's pretty amazing. We're gonna get out here and explore it, but the spring colors here are phenomenal. I've been out here in the fall before. That's the old Milwaukee Bridge right there, a little spur bridge. But right now, the colors are just popping. We're gonna park right here. Give people room. If anyone does come down here, be surprised. But let's check it out. And there that turn signal is, it's red. We're gonna catch a train coming through here, guys. Yeah, so we're walking right on the historic Milwaukee rail bed. This is BNSF. That's an old Milwaukee bridge right there. Old Milwaukee Bridge. Just stunning back here. Yeah, this is part of an old Townsite. See the car? Couple cars back here. So this bridge here, and you can see it reflected in the concrete. That's an old Milwaukee bridge, and it'd run right down there. We're gonna go to the tunnel in a minute, but this here is an old Milwaukee bridge, and it used to be able to connect you to the other side of the canyon. Like, you could drive on this if you really wanted to. You could drive on that, but they, you know, ruined it. And there's a horrific story why this is dismantled. This bridge costed a man his life. He was working a backhoe on a flat rail bed car down here, and the train moved for some reason or something, and the backhoe arm caught the bottom of the bridge and flung back and crushed him, and the train kept going because they already had, you know, head speed, and it killed a gentleman in this area. Super unfortunate. That's why the bridge is cut in half now. If that would have never happened, we would have been able to go right across this bridge. I don't know what's over there up in those hills either. I know there's stuff down here too we got to see, but look at these mesas. Just phenomenal. Let's head over to that old Milwaukee bridge. I want to get a good look at it and see what this old Townsite has. So I was here before in a time pinch, and the weather wasn't this nice yet. And I didn't get to look at all this. Oh, beautiful bush. Just swarming with bumblebees, but I can smell it. It smells so good. There's lots of wildlife down here. So if we run across the animal signs, you know, this is an old foundation. In the town, you can't tell it now, but the footprint was big. It was this whole thing, this whole little cutout in the canyon. The lilacs smell gorgeous. Love lilac. It's an old classic here. I don't know what year that'd be. Someone will know. Broke down and it was just been left here since the dawn of time. Someone did take the engine block though. Super cool. Yeah. Now, there's just debris from this old town. And in areas like this, especially in high desert, this is where rattlers hang out. See this? It's an old trash pit. Get out of there. Tell me that's not an old bottle. It's even got purple. I don't know if that's from the sun or if it's dyed like that. Purple hue. This is pretty cool. And you can tell, right? This all used to be something. I mean, this is a bed frame. That's definitely a bed frame. A stove. Wow. And it's all very rudimentary. It's not anything new. From the early 1900s, late 1800s. I wonder what the last meal that was cooked on that stove was. Just a bunch of odds and ends, bunch of metals, stuff that wasn't worth taking out of the canyon. I think I hear a train. That's our train. Look at all that lumber. Look at it go. This train would have ran through here just like this over 100 and some years ago. Isn't that amazing? But instead it would have been picking up people, dropping them off, looking to stake their claim west. A lot of freight. A lot of freight. Now this train's moving east with all that freight. This is eastbound. I don't know where it's going to stop, but it's moving eastbound. Look at her way up there. Someday we got to get on one and see where it takes us. What do you think of that, Greta? And it is still snaking through this canyon. We're on the old Milwaukee railbed, tucked away off in the city, and you can just see little things as you're walking along that used to be a part of this functioning railway town that's just abandoned. And it's just awesome that look at how beautiful this is, and it's just kind of tucked in here. I mean, it would be the cat's meow nowadays, like tourism and everything, and it just vanished. You can't find much on it. It's just vanished. Some of the old poles from the electrified Milwaukee track are still up right there. Not sure if there's any insulators left on them or not. These are some remains from the old Milwaukee track. Old rail ties, kind of kicked to the side on this. So I'm gonna get down here and get a look, because I've seen some pictures of this bridge, and it does that old school Milwaukee Railroad arch. It's a signature. If you're looking at anything Milwaukee Railroad, it almost looks like it's something out of Lord of the Rings, or it's almost got like a castle-like or fairy tale-like look. It feels like a fairy tale back here. Look at that. Look at that bridge. And there's going to be a date stamp on this, so we can make sure that this is surely the Milwaukee, but I'm entirely positive it is. I hope she doesn't fall in that creek. She falls in there, she's getting pushed out. Hey, come here. You're gonna go for a swim, and I'm not jumping in there. If you want the water, go get it, but be careful. Yeah, right there. Good girl. Right there. Go down there. So, as we're going down here, look at all this stuff washed up right on the banks. There's even old glass bottles. I don't know what that wood would be though under the bridge. Just beautiful though. Just beautiful. I'm just awed by this bridge. This bridge is amazing. I mean, look at where we're at. Holy cow. Gorgeous. Let's get up there and keep going. Just a beautiful area. You can see what I'm talking about of that Milwaukee architecture. They don't make them like that anymore. Quit marveling at it. I'll spend all afternoon here. Let's get up there. And I'm starting to see something that's incredibly unfortunate on this bridge. There is a very bad amount of fire damage. Someone tried to light this on fire. That is just horrible. It did have caution tape over it at one point. I mean, you can't really walk across that. So there's fire damage on this bridge and it looks incredibly shoddy. Like that's not hooked up. But I feel like you can walk on the center I-beam to get across. We made it across. Look at that. CC72. It's beautiful back here. But Greta doesn't want to come across. Come on! Oh, there are insulators on these. I can see them shining in the sun. How cool is that? Old Milwaukee insulators. See, I'd love to get one. Look at all the rail ties. Just tossed over. The river's still running quite a bit from the spring runoff, but as we get closer, it just keeps getting more beautiful. And there's rail ties all over from the old Milwaukee. It's just a spectacular canyon. And if you look, you can see what I think is mining remains. I think there's adits up here, or portals. See all those carve outs in the rock? Look at all that. It's insane that The old Milwaukee used to just run through here every day. Some of the most beautiful country you'll find. Now it's overgrown with sage and birds are chirping, rivers roaring. Super fun little thing here. This you can't even tell it's a bridge. Look at that. 1914, right on the side. How cool. Let's keep going up ahead. I'll fill you guys in once we get to the tunnel. Oh wow, there it is. Isn't that phenomenal? See it right down there? Wow. It just opens up into just this lush valley. Could you imagine heading through here, making your journey out west, and you just drop into this canyon? This is definitely one of the prettiest sights I've seen. So it's a short tunnel compared to our others. It's a very short tunnel. I can hear the water on the other side too. It's so cool. And there's still steam right on the roof. See it up there. And what's interesting is this is partially concrete and then it just goes to raw mountain. This here might have been to prevent cave-ins or slides, so this might be the true mountain right here, and this is just added. There's a campfire here too. It's huge. It's a lot bigger than a lot of them we went through. It looks so gnarly up there too. It's insane, the old Milwaukee ran through here. Too cool. The birds coming out of the caves in the mountains. Right on top, Tunnel 9. Isn't that awesome? And you can even see, I don't know if they stack those rocks, but it looks like the side of this has mortar on it. Just spectacular. It drops right into this valley. Awesome. Just a treat. Too cool. You know, it just leaves you speechless looking at this history and just imagining in the late 1800s, this was the only evidence of civilization in this whole area, and it was a heck of a lot wilder. There was all sorts of stuff going on up in the hills, and here you have this train tunnel they etched in the side of the mountain to bypass all the dangers of the early frontier and kind of the situation going on in the west as far as mining and so forth to get people connected to the west coast. And there's just this monument of, you know, awe way out here, because you got to remember, we're not driving vehicles out here. There is no heavy equipment. This was all man and steam locomotives. This whole valley was founded by man and steam locomotives. I'm sure cattle played a big part in bringing the trains through here, but just look at this thing up here and where we are. Just beautiful. God's country for sure. This cracks me up, but it's part of the construction, and it's just really spectacular that that's still there. And you can kind of see the mortar between the rocks. I mean, ignore the spray paint. It's a travesty that it's here, given the history of this, but yeah, see that? Isn't that cool? Just right up against these concrete pillars. Stunning, stunning. Now, there is some more parts of the town we're gonna go head to. I'm gonna get some cool shots of the bridge. Just that old arch bridge. You don't see architecture like that anymore either, just solid concrete mixed in with some rebar. But I'm gonna go get that. We're gonna hop in the vehicle and we're gonna go down the road a bit, and there's some really cool old ovens from refining coal. And it was sold here in this town, and there's still evidence of the ovens and the commerce that took place. So there's some old coke ovens from refining coal. So now we're headed down to the old ovens. There's some up here. I mean, as far as research goes, there should be some up here, and we're going to be following the old rail grade. Well, old Northern Pacific rail grade. That's the Milwaukee right here. I don't know how dicey this road gets or not, but we're going to check it out. Let you guys know when we get there. Looks like we got a snake in front of us. I don't know if it's a rattler or a bull snake. It's a nice looking bull snake. No rattle on him. Look at you. Oh wow, there's a bunch of otters over here too. That's what all that swimming is. Isn't that cool? Look at those. Yeah, right down there's an otter. Wasn't expecting that, but let's see if we can't get a look at these. Yeah, there's a ton of otters. I think that's what they are. What are these? Are those carp? I think those are carp. That's wild. Not otters. Carp. Yeah, look at these fish. They are all over. There's one right here. It's a carp. I bet you I could grab him. I could. They're huge. Isn't that cool? Should have brought a pole out here. Could have been catching these buggers. That is too cool. Thought they were otters. No, I can see them. I really want to go back and get another carp, but look at this. Isn't this phenomenal? So these are the old kilns from the town, and their condition is just spectacular. All done by hand. Isn't that amazing? Look at this. How cool is that? These are old coke ovens. So they'd refine the coal. Whether they use the coke on the train, they very well might have been using it. And because this was a major junction for two historic, I mean, two transcontinental rail lines came through here. Of course they were refining coal and putting it on there. And look at the condition. It's just beautiful. Those same trains we were watching, at one point the Northern Pacific was on that BNSF track, and it was loaded down with coke from these ovens. Just a little piece of job, brought jobs to the area, to the town. It was so isolated, and you know, someone thought economically, and they built this, and this brought some jobs to the town. You work at the coke mill. And that is just fantastic. You don't see them in this good condition. Look at that. Really cool. How phenomenal. So there must have been coal in this area, unless they were getting it off the train and just converting it to coke and then selling it back to the trains. Look at this one. This one collapsed. A couple of these did. Isn't that appealing too? Visually appealing. All the bricks so symmetrical. Complete circle. Oh, cool. Wow. And this is a spot where they'd either have the coal sitting to go into the kiln, or they'd pull the coke out of the kiln and set it here, load it up, get it on a train. But the train tracks are right here. So I think the Northern Pacific picked it up from right here. Yeah, look at that berm. There's a huge berm, and the rest of the track doesn't have those. That looks man-made, so they could put it into rail cars. How cool. Huh. Well, what a phenomenal day. I'm happy to have shared it. We found some cool stuff. I really want to catch one of those carp. I'm going to try to catch one of those carp, and I'll say farewell then, but if I don't catch one, I'm saying it now. I appreciate your time as always. Thanks for joining me and Greta on the trail, and look forward to hearing from you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Hope today's treating you well.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket.